Biggity, 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 whoa, let me tell them, whoa, okay. Ugly, ugly. All right, I wanted to talk about another one of the 4 horsemen in relationships. So defensiveness was the one that I spoke about last time. They are known as horsemen in relationships. The one that I wanted to mention today is stonewalling. Another one that I'm familiar with, not necessarily through displaying it myself, and hopefully she doesn't mind me saying, but my wife is somebody that always used to stonewall me up until, of course, learning about how to deal with that behavior. And it's behavior that neither of us knew actually even existed. So that was interesting, as I mentioned previously, to learn about. But essentially, stonewalling is when you reach, not even necessarily in conflict, but for us specifically, it was when we reached a point of conflict, Sasha would get to a point where she would just shut down, literally. Someone needs to put that Windows noise over the top of that. Shut down and would just stop engaging in the argument, in the conflict entirely, essentially, which in theory sounds like a nice thing to do. Just don't engage in it, but not healthy. It made it especially difficult for me as a defensive person. So in a relationship, I've always found that generally I can deal with things straight away. Whoever it is that I have that relationship with, we can address the situation and get on with it, move past it. But Sasha hadn't learned that behavior. We'd learned how to deal with conflict in different ways. So when I was used to dealing with shit and cracking on with it, she wasn't. So essentially what would happen, as I mentioned last time, I'd be all defensive and I would need to justify why I did or said what I did. So we'd reach a point of conflict. She wouldn't understand or get my point of view. I wouldn't understand or get her point of view. And so it would start to bubble up. And it got to the point where it would turn into an argument and Sash would shut down and I would just continue going because I need to justify. I need you to understand where I'm coming from and what my point of view was. So I'd keep going, but I wouldn't get anything in return. I'd just get silence, which would make it harder for me, and I'd get angrier because ultimately then I'd start to try and justify more. Why are you not listening to my point? Where I was coming from was, all I was trying to say is, and it would just end in horribly explosive situations that just didn't need to happen. So yeah, very difficult. Stonewalling is not very healthy and is not something ideally that you should be displaying. Sometimes it is really difficult to even spot that is something that you do. But ultimately, if you do recognize that you're somebody who does display that behavior, what you can do is start to try and understand the time frame that you need in order to be able to step away, think about what it is that's just happened, gather your thoughts, and then can return back to a point where you can start to discuss it with your partner. And when you do start to understand that, you can let other people, not necessarily again just your partner, but you can let other people around you know that you need a certain time frame or a certain amount of time to be able to overcome whatever it is that's just happened. So whether that be 10, 15 minutes, whether that be an hour, whether that be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, honestly, it's entirely up to you. That's a very personal thing. As I said, for myself, I get over it very quickly, but Sasha, my wife, needs a little bit more time. Subsequently, I would have to give her that time, which I found really difficult, but obviously I needed to learn that she needed some time. So that was tough. It's not easy. Sometimes it does still happen in relationships, especially when you start introducing highly stressful situations, such as moving to a different part of the country, as we did recently, such as a child coming on the way. So there's many different things that can make you, forget the things that you've learned about the other person and what they need when you do reach a point of disagreement. So yeah, stonewalling, just a very quick overview, I guess. Hopefully that gives you an idea on one thing that you can do. I'm thinking it could be good to do a couple of these videos just to share our experience with the counseling and what we went through and what we learned in order to make our relationship better and stronger and more solid. So I think that would be a good thing to do. I'll share it with you lot and see what you think. It might help you. You might be in a situation where you feel like you can't speak to your wife or your partner or your husband or your kids or your colleagues, whoever. This might give you an idea as to, I don't know, fuck knows, some ways that you can do something about it. Helped us at least. So yeah, don't really have anything funny for you so to speak. But I did wear a shirt though today. Thought that'd be nice to show you that I do own other clothes. Still white. It's always fucking white. It makes me look less pale when I wear lighter colours. But yeah, I'm wearing a shirt because I do own other clothes as opposed to just white t-shirts. So this is proof. Fucking get over it if you're the type of weirdo that's like, have you seen it? All 5 of his last videos have been white t-shirts. What a fucking weirdo. Does he not own any other clothes? Oh, he's poor. He's got no fucking money. The broke ass bitch. It's not that. It's like white t-shirts. So fuck off. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. Stonewalling. Try your best not to do it. I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you as always.